Thank you. A stunning new report says cybersecurity threats against the government have risen a whopping 650% in the past 5 years. And there's a very real threat to consumers and businesses, too. It was the topic before the House Intelligence Committee yesterday.
The United States faces a significant and ongoing cybersecurity threat today, one that presents issues of national and economic security. There has been a lot of talk of the prospect of a cyber Pearl Harbor attack that could shut down critical infrastructure and potentially cause physical damage to the United States.
Joining me now, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Mike Rogers. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris. How are you?
As we were watching, you talked a lot about China yesterday, saying that their attacks are reaching what you called intolerable levels. Give us a sense of exactly what they're doing and why has it gotten so bad?
Well, you know, there are normal courses of espionage that two nations would engage in, and that's been a long history of that, where one nation tries to determine what the intentions of a military are in both places. This is very different from that. China has engaged in economic espionage, and very aggressively so. So they're trying to steal information, intellectual property. They're trying to steal research and development materials so that they can turn it around and use it as economic predators, if you will, in an international market.
So what do we need to do about it?
Well, we better step it up. One, I don't think our business community is very well prepared for this, and it's very, very sophisticated, their efforts to get into these systems, these computer networks, and steal that information. So we need to be able to allow our NSA that covers now .gov and .mil, military and government nets, to also at least share information with the private sector so they can secure themselves. And then I think we need to build an international coalition to start putting pressure on Beijing to knock this off. We would not tolerate somebody walking into a factory, sticking a gun in their head and stealing all of their blueprints and then taking them overseas. We wouldn't put up with it. This is really no different. All they're doing is stealing it electronically. It's the same thing, and we need to stand up to make sure that we have long-term economic prosperity and they're not stealing Americans' innovation.
Yeah, another thing you said yesterday that really got my attention was you said a lot of businesses aren't talking about this because they fear retaliation. What kind of retaliation and from whom?
Well, one thing that we know is that the Chinese are very, very good and very sophisticated in their cyber espionage. And so what these companies have expressed to us is that, listen, we fear a couple of things. One, reprisals in China itself, or we think that they will focus what is a very large and growing effort by the Chinese to get into these private sector companies, and they think that they'll be the target of that. And remember, this is thousands and thousands and thousands of ways they can try to get into these computer networks, and they just don't think they can handle it. So they'd rather not have that high-profile attention. But it is a problem. I can tell you every single day there's an American company who is compromised through their computer networks, and something goes missing. And that's what I think we need to talk about, and we need to get this international coalition. It's not just us, Chris. It's also Europe. It's also our friends in Asia. They're all becoming victims of a ravenous Chinese aggressive cyber espionage, commercial espionage program.
Congressman Mike Rogers, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me.